Hey guys, and welcome back. I am PrimeRose and this is my channel. I am so excited that you guys are here today for this special video. In fact, on this episode of Painting the Island, this is definitely the last video that I have from the neighbor island, that is Porto Santo. That's it. There's no more videos about it. This is a Painting the Island video, and basically also the only one that I have from Porto Santo, at least at the moment. But I will have more. If you remember the episode of hiking the island from Morenos, while we were doing this hike, we came across a building that was in ruins, which was a lookout post from the last century. Since during the last century we had for a couple of decades this activity or this industry that was whaling. Of course, nowadays we do not have that. What we have is whale watching and not whale hunting. On the day that we found this lookout post, the ruins were very beautiful, so I decided to make a painting out of it. I believe this is by far my best painting until now. But before we dive into the painting, remember, if you like my videos and you like my content that I do, subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos that I basically do every week. So let's get to it.
In the beginning of the 40s, a new way of exploiting maritime resources was introduced in Madeira: hunting sperm whales. In 1940, 2 watchmen and 2 equipped whaleboats and their crews arrived in Madeira, which departed from Azores. Azores, in turn, started this industry much earlier, in the 18th century, basically 2 centuries before us. The whaling industry was introduced to the Azores by the young American nation. Large sailing ships, called Yankee whalers, were the first to venture into Azorean waters to hunt whales. They captured and then melted the meat that gave rise to the oil that was later used for lighting. But let's back up the story about whaling to the archipelago of Madeira. So, when these watchmen and their equipped whaleboats came to our shores, they got the consent of the government to build 2 lookout posts on the east and west ends of the island, namely Mexico and Porto Muniz. In addition to that, a very rudimentary bacon melting station was also built, which the whalers called trail, located at the mouth of Ribeira da Janela in Porto Muniz. They chose Porto Muniz for the easiness to hunt the whales. The day of February 2nd, 1941 is a fundamental milestone in Madeira's whaling history, as it was the day on which the first sperm whales were killed in this archipelago. These animals were killed in Porto Muniz and brought to Ribeira da Janela to be turned into oil. Everything was going well for the whaling industry. So much so that the second trail was built 1 year later, in 1942, on the south coast, more specifically in Garajau. By the way, if you want to know more about this story, you can always click on the information up here or on the description down below for another video where I go more into detail about it. What I can say today is that this trail was better equipped than the one at Ribeira da Janela, which led to its progressive abandonment. Over the years, the network of coastal lookouts in the Madeira archipelago has been improved, with the construction of new lookout posts along the entire coast of the island of Madeira, and even on the Deserta Islands and on the island of Porto Santo. In fact, this lookout point that I'm painting right now was one of them. These lookouts made it possible to fully cover the seas of the archipelago of Madeira up to 15 miles away. In Porto Santo, there were no whale boats, which meant that every whale sighting that happened on this small golden island needed to be reported to Madeira for them to come and hunt the whales, which gave the islanders no autonomy about the subject. Besides this little lookout that I'm painting, there were two more that were built in Porto Santo. The effectiveness of the network from all of these lookouts was based on two technical factors. The first was the correct positioning of the building, which influenced the range of vision, facilitating the location of the animals. The second one was the availability of efficient means of communication, which facilitated communication between the lookouts and vessels. But these lookouts were not only built to watch whales. Oh no. That would be a waste of time, man labor, and money. In fact, while the first intent for these lookouts was to search for whale appearances, another reason appeared with the start of World War II. The captaincy of Funchal Port decided that these lookouts could be used to strengthen the coastal surveillance to control military aid and maritime traffic during this time of war. It was like killing two birds with one bullet. In 1944, the EBAM, a company with the sole purpose of whaling, was formed. This company was indispensable for the modernization of the whaling industry that followed. In the late 40s, they industrialized the means of transforming the dead whales into oil, with the construction of a modern factory. This factory was well equipped, making it possible to fully use the dead animals, from producing oil from the fat and bones to the production of flour from the meat and bones. This factory was built in Canissal, and it helped increase the EBAM's production while decreasing the dependence on human effort. In the 50s, the means of hunting were improved, which meant that new tugboats and whaleboats were brought to the archipelago, which were powered by motors. The motorization of the whaleboats, combined with the acquisition of faster boats, led to the development of a hunting method characteristic of the archipelago of Madeira, which was hunting in a siege. This method was based on the speed and agility of maneuver from the new vessels to drive the animals close to the coast, facilitating the hunting. This new hunting method replaced the technique introduced by the Assyrians, developed in the Middle Ages, which was based on the furtive approach to the whales. The raw materials that were collected from the sperm whales made the production of a great variety of products possible. From the bacon and bones, the oil was removed, used in the chemical industry, but also in the lubrication of industrial machinery. In Portugal, it was frequently used in the softening of leather, and in our islands, it was used as fuel for boat and vehicle engines during the shortage of mineral fuels during World War II. The sperm whale's head contains a huge fat mass called spermaceti, which at room temperature is solid. Once refined, this material results in a high-quality oil, whose properties had made it sought after by the aerospace industry. The EBAM factory still processed the bones, meat, and blood from the sperm whales. These raw materials resulted in the production of protein meals for feeding livestock and the production of mineral-rich guano for the fertilization of agricultural land. EBAM also profited from the extraction of ambergris. This material results from a slow process that is characterized by the natural accumulation of non-digestible materials in the intestines of sperm whales, which formed a compact mass of dark color. This amber was used as an aromatic fixative agent by the French perfume industry. The jaws and teeth from the sperm whales were used by the whalers and also by artists in the production of art pieces, known as Scrimshaw. In the 70s, with the growth of the international movement for the defense of whales, there was a ban on the commercialization of products extracted from these animals by some countries, which until then were the main buyers of Madeiran production. This interdiction, combined with the decrease in the number of sightings, led to the voluntary end of whaling in the archipelago in 1981. From 1986, a decree was made to turn the water around the Madeira archipelago up to 200 miles into a kind of sanctuary for whales, dolphins, and other marine mammals, like the Mediterranean monk seal, which is considered to be the rarest seal in the world. 4 years later, a museum was created to document the history of whaling in the seas of the Madeira archipelago during the 20th century. This museum is located in Canissal. It has a large room with life-size models of whales and dolphins to make known the life of these fantastic creatures and their marine environment in a fun, interactive way and using stereoscopic 3D movies. Nowadays, the islanders decide to continue to have profit from these animals and also the dolphins by studying and watching them instead of searching and killing them.
This is the best painting that I ever did until now. One of the worst parts, or let's say the most difficult parts to do this, was the actual horizons. While I was painting the sky, it was all good and I had the line very correct, but when I started doing the sea, the paint was still wet. The line was going up and down and up and down and up and down. I had to correct that. I had to put one wire from one side to the other to see if it was all correct. After some adjustments that I did, I think it got really well. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this painting was the reflection from the sunshine that reflected on the water. This part here and all of it, it looks really interesting, and you can see I tried to show the actual waves that were happening over here on this area. This painting is very different from, well, it means of a color palette. It's very different from what I used to paint. There's not a lot of greenery, it's only here. Well, you know, it was very refreshing to see another type of colors on my painting. Another thing that was really cute, when something is very far away, I try not to put as much detail as possible because, you know, it's far away. So on this island there is a lighthouse, and I thought it would be vital for me to make a suggestion about the lighthouse on top. So you can leave on the comment section down below which building from there, if possible, would you like me to do on next. And if you like my videos, remember to smash that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel the first time, you can always do that right now. So I see you next time. Bye!